So let me share my screen. So in the last class, what we had done is we had a discussion about how to create a fields, how to create a fields from the different like a form layout, from the form design, or from the table, how we can do it. So in the service now, whatever we have written, so on the fields or whatever, it will be executed in the two levels. And not only for service now, in any other thing, it will execute in the uh, two levels. Two means the first one is the server level. Second one is client level. What is server level? What is client level? Whatever executing in the browser level, we will call it as a server level. And whatever executing in the browser, we will call it as a client level. So whatever we are executing in a whatever we are executing in a database level, we will call it as a client level. So tell in the server level what will execute. Server level. In server level, the first one is the business rules, and second one is the script includes. The server level is the business. Sorry, server level script include and the business rules will be executed in the server level. So when you come to the client level, what will execute? Client level. So what will execute? So in the client level, the first one is the client scripts, and the second one is client scripts, and the second one is UI policies. These two will execute in the one. And here, I'm sorry if I forgotten the server level. One more thing. Third one is data policy. So now here you can see script include business rule data policy will execute in the server level and client level. So client script and AI policy. What is the advantage or why we need to do some validations in the client level? So for example, I'm just opening this one. The client level, why we need to use it? For example, this is our database. So is entering the data from here. So here what happened, user will then send the data, and if you not did any convalidations, our goal is the data has to from here. This is our requirement. So this is a DB, this is database. So he is the user is adding the data. Okay, the user is adding the data to the one. So what happened, if you not any control or if you did not written any client controls, so what happens is the data will comes from here to here database, and in the database it check the data is not in the correct format, again it's sent back to the system. So what happened? This is the unwanted request. That is the unwanted data will be flow from one to other. So due to this, what happened? So multiple, if, for example, if you one or two are using, that's not a problem, because since our applications will be used by wide range of users. So what happened? From here to here, the data will flow. So from the user to database, so the what happened? The data will be what you can say. How can I say? The data will be uh, sent to the database in the wrong format, it will come in back. So due to this unwanted request, the network traffic is increased, and the burden on the server also database also will increase. So to avoid this, what we will do is we can write a client script here in the browser in here only. So if you stop this one, if you control, so the validations will done in the here only, and once we have done the validations, so what it will do is it will not send to the database, so it will reduce the burden on the server and network traffic. That is the advantage when you return any client sorry, validations at the client level. This is not for service now, this is for any technology. If you did a validations at client level, so what happened, the network traffic is reduced and the band load on the server will reduce and the band. So what, there are a lot of factors will be on the, so if the network traffic is increased, the load on the database is increased, so obviously our application performance will be decreased. If the application is performance decreased, the user may experience a lot of different experience. So that's a problem for us. To avoid this, we will use the client script, sorry, client level executions. This is the basic thing for any technology, not for service now. I hope you guys clear why we need to do the client level validations. Very good. Now, so what happened? This server level right now, I'm not saying anything, so we can discuss this later. We have, these are the different topics, so I will tell you in the future classes. And the client level, so this client script also I will tell you later. Here we have seen a UI policy. So forget about UI. So UI policy. So what is a policy in general or terminology? What is a policy in our daily life? What you see, if you say policy is nothing but uh, what is, sorry, yes, guideline. So simply, the policy is nothing but set of rules and regulations. Simple. That means, see, if you see the some, for example, if you join an organization, you have a leave policy, right? So according to the leave policy, you can take only 2 days in a month as a leave, as a what you call paid leave, something like that. We have a 10 holidays leaves, or you have a maternity leave or paternity leave, or some different levels of leaves were there. So according to the policy, as per the, if the condition, that means if it is a sick leave, you can take a multiple leaves. If it is a maternity, you can take 180 days, something there is a, but that means depending upon the condition, it may change. That is a one. So similarly, UI policy is nothing but, so the UI policy will be executed in the browser level, which is a client level. And so if you want to do certain actions, so we'll show with an example. So this is our so this is our what happened, we have created in the last week the Narayana table. The Narayana table, I'm just opening a record. See here, here we have a details called hostel detail. So we are giving the user as a false as hostel. And so I'm just entering the hostel name. So see here what happened, the user hostel details is true false, but we have the hostel data. Is it a valid? But system will accept it because we didn't do written any validations. So what happened, if the user is hostel, then only this floor, building name, room number, hostel fee, amount fee, remaining fee has to visible this one. But here, since we have not did any validations, what happened, the user has direct has option to, if the student is not belong to hostel, or also he can see the, he can fill the data for hostel details. So which is a, for right now the system will accept it, but when come to the validations, which is a wrong thing, right? So to control this, we can go to the configure. So from here, if you want, you can go right click, configure, and go to the UI policies. So UI policy, one more thing, if you write any UI policy, it will save in the this table. As we discussed, right? In ServiceNow, everything will be stored in the table. That means whatever, if you have written a script, or create a user, create a table, or created a field, or create a formula, everything will be stored in the table. So this, what these UI policies will be stored in the sys underscore UI underscore policy table. Now I'm just going to create a new table, new UI policy, clicking on new. So here I'm just writing hostel details visible. See, so whenever if you're writing, we can select that what is the table we are going to execute. The application is global and active true. Those if you want to execute active true. So when to apply? When to apply in the sense is nothing but when we need to apply the this one. That means the condition. So our goal is I'm just going the hostel as true. Hostel is true. See here we have done. And script, I think right now we don't have any script. So order is 100. So here you can see here we have order. Order is nothing but whatever the lowest order will be executed first. For example, if the same condition the hostel is true for the two UA policies we have, so the first whatever it will be, it will be executed. That's okay. And the next thing, and when to apply, hostel is true. And see here if next one the condition we have given, and see we have as a global as true. If you global as a true, we have created a multiple views earlier, like SSC view, hostel view, and something interview. Something there are different views we are created. So if you given global as a true, what it will happen is the thing is nothing but it will execute all the views irrespective of any other thing. Or else if you want to execute it in any particular view, you can give here. So in chart details, SSA details, or whatever we have, we can give the same thing. Right now I'm not giving any condition. We can check this one also. I'm just giving global. And see, onload as true. Onload as true is nothing but this UI policy will execute whenever the form loaded, and whenever the form value is changes. That also we can tell you. And reverse if false, so just wait, we will cover it later this one today class. And table, see here the inherit is true. Inherits is nothing but what you discussed in the previous classes, deriving from one to another is called inheritance. So which means here the inheritance true, the inheritance true is nothing but, so if you want to apply this UI policy for the child policies also, child tables also, you can do it. Right now we don't have any child table, so that we can do the same thing here. So this is the one. So right now I'm not giving this one, and I am saving this one. Right now what we have done, we have defined a one UI policy, but in that we have not, for example, this try to assume that this is a leave policy, and in that we have to define the different things like different type of leaves or something. Right here we don't have anything, but by UI policy we can make a field mandatory, read only, and visible. Our goal is whenever if a user is creating a new record, see not new record, if you click on hostel, if the user is click on hostel, this floor, building name, room number, hostel fee, amount paid, remaining pay should be visible and mandatory. So that's our goal. If you want to see here, we have an option called UI policy action. UI policy action is nothing but click on new. So field name. So what is the one we have to give? First one is the building name. I'm just giving a building name here. You can see mandatory, visible, and read. Mandatory is nothing but from here we can make a field mandatory there. And the next one, visible. Visible is nothing but if you want to display this field, at the condition. And read only, you want to make read only. And clear value, if you want to clear the value, we can see it. See here, mandatory. Here you can see leave alone. Leave alone is nothing but leave alone is nothing but, for example, if the field was mandatory there, then it should be a mandatory. If the field was optional there, then it should be optional. So that means it doesn't uh, change the current existing application, existing scenario. Next one, mandatory as true is nothing but, if it is a mandatory as true, that means if the irrespective of the there it was optional, it will make a mandatory. And here visible is true, it will be visible. And you never do a field as a mandatory as true and read only as true. This is the very worst practice. There are many people do mistake here. They will give a field as a read only and mandatory as true. If it is a give as a read only, what we will do is we cannot edit that field. And if the field was, if you give as a mandatory as true, which means we need to enter the data. Since if you edit the data, we don't have edit the data, we cannot make a mandatory for it. So right now I'm just making mandatory and visible, and I'm just saving this one. So and this one, and when come to the next one, so one field we did, I'm sorry, it was going to the one. So hostel details visible. See building name, floor name, next floor number, floor I'm just was giving as a mandatory. And so floor, and the same thing I'm applying, and building name, floor was there, and next one is a room number. Here we can pick the whatever we required, and the room number is mandatory. So next one is a hostel fee. Hostel fee after that amount paid, remaining fee. Submitted. So now what happened is the mandatory fields you have right now. What happened, whenever the hostel is true, we just make a hostel is true, hostel fee, building name, floor number, and the room number, remaining fee on. Let's see how it will execute. I'm just reloading the form. And also for your information, this is a form level execution. See, since the hostel is false, no field was visible, and I'm gonna click on hostel as true. This field has come as a true, and we'll do the same thing. So now what happens is, this is the basic thing. We'll do the same thing. So hostel is true, and if I trying to save this application, so it was throwing an error saying that the following mandatory fields are not filled in: amount paid, building name, hostel fee, floor, and room number, and the remaining fee. These are the basic things. We can do the same thing. So if I make as a false, it will do the same thing for it. Now, so it is this is the basic thing, and we can fill the data and building name test. Room number 101, hostel fee 20,000. So if you want to, we can write a validation this one. Hostel amount paid and hostel fee, that's a different one. We can calculate this one later. Now, this like this we can. If you make it as a false, it will not visible. If you give as a true, it will be visible. So this is the basic thing. Now here we have an option called. I hope you clear right till now what we discussed. Any other questions? Gugan, Pavan or Spandana, you have any questions till now? Because this is a very very important thing, and also this will be executed only in the form level. Form level is nothing but this is called as a form level. This will not list level is nothing but this is the list level. So if you want to execute it, it will not execute in the here. Only in the form level it will execute. This is the another drawback. It's one of the very small drawback here. So oh my god, just give a minute. I need to charge the laptop. Okay, I think it's charging. Now what? Oh my god. Okay. Now here, so the user is by mistake. For example, I'm just removing this data. So for example, user is by mistake is given as a false. So if you given as a false, it is not visible. Visible, that's fine. So if you want to do here, we have an option called reverse if false. Reverse if false is nothing but it will affect the UA policy action where the condition evaluates to true to false, which means it will undo the action. So for example, what about if I am going to do reverse if false as true and save this one? Let's see what happens. So here we have given as a reverse if false. That means I'm just going to save this. I'm just reloading this one. Whenever if you write a client script or any UI policy, what you have to do is you need to reload the form, then only it will apply. Because since that browser, the previous settings only will be there. So what happened? I'm just going to false this. So assume that this is the basic thing. Oh my god, it's not saving. See here. So okay, just wait. I'm just stopping this one. Maybe as a true will come. Will delete the data and show you. So right now what happened? We don't have data. So I'm just giving now. I'm just giving reverse if false is true. So right now, as per the system, if you mark as a hostel as true, it will be visible and mandatory. That is a fine. Now what happened? The reverse if false or true. Oh my god. Oh my god. See? No. It's loaded. It's affected. See, right now what happened? We have given reverse if false. Okay, if I reload, so what happened? It will be visible. It will not affect properly. If I give as a true, then only it will be mandatory coming. If I make as a false, this mandatory doesn't go. So always, whenever the best practice you are implementing any UI policy, always this should be reverse if false as true always. So for example, see, if you're going to save this one, it will not accept it. So the best practice is always you will be always you should be reverse if false. This is the best practice you have to do it. There are some people will forget it. By default it was true, but the thing was what happened, few people will forget to mark it as a true. So will mark it as a false. So that is the one of the very what you call other issue. So now this is the use of reversive false. I hope we clear our confusion. Now I have here, I have hostel details here. I just want to execute this in the hostel view only, not in the all the views. So right now here I have in the global. So I want to do it in the execute in the hostel details. So here we have been executed in the one. So right now I'm just going to the default view. See, in the default view it was visible. When I mark as a true, it will not becoming a mandatory and the visible. It is not going to the mandatory. But if I going to the hostel details, right now it is not visible. If I make as a true, it is coming like this, which means here we have implemented that UA policy to execute only in the hostel details view. That means in a particular view. Earlier, what happened? We have given as a global view. So right now here, I'm just going to here. What happened? So I'm sorry, not reversing false. So here, what happened? I'm just deleting this one. I'm just giving the global. We'll see. We want to see understand the example. So false and go to the default view. So right now what happened, I was informed the system it has to execute in all the views globally as a true. So if the hostel is true, which is a fine, that means here also it was executing. If I am going to the hostel details view, if I give the hostel as true, it was visible, which means if I give as a global as true, it will execute in all the views. But if you want a particular view, just mark as a false and here it will execute. I hope you clear what is the use of hostel details visible. Sorry, what is the use of global true or false? Very good. And you understand that reversive false of also, right? Correct, correct, correct. So this is the that means for example, see you are in the one view, you want to execute in particular view. At the scenario we can execute in the global as a false and we can select the view. This will happen sometimes, but you cannot execute in the all the views, but that is a complete depending upon the business requirement. Okay, very good. Now next, yeah, yeah, wait, I'm just coming to the same point. Now what happened, I'm just going to, so till now global we have seen it and reverse if false. Now we can go to the, I'm just making this onward as a false and save this. Let's see what will happen in our system. So I'm just going to reload this. See, it is not executing. If I give as a true, it will execute. If I give as a false, it will execute. That means whenever the form is loaded, it will not execute. See, whenever the form is loaded, this UA policy will not execute. The same thing will execute. Once we click on change value, then it will execute. See, the difference is, I will tell you. Now what happened? I'm just going to again unload as true. I'm just reloading. See, now the form is loaded. So since the EA policy executed and the hostel value is false, so that what happened? It was executed. So if I give click on this one, this is fine. If it's fine. Now here, if I mark it as unload as a false, if I reload, see the fields were visible. That means whatever the previous action is done, it will be visible here. I hope it clear. I believe. Or still any confusion? Yep. No, 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 no. Client script. Forget about client script. So I'm not discussing about client script. No, no. Yeah, yeah. That forget about just forget about the client scripts. Don't think about it also. I'm just saying onload here we have given as onload as true, which means whenever the form loads, that means if I reload, this is the form loaded. Then this UI policy has to execute or not. That's a basic thing. Forget about client script. That's a vast topic. That's a very big topic. So that we can cover when the topic is comes. So now, no, wait, I will tell you. So here, this is called as a list view. This is called as a form view, form level. So the UI policy will be executed in the form level, not in the list level. So if you want to do the list there, you need to do the server level execution. Okay, fine. This is the basic thing we need to do the same thing. So till now you guys understood, right? Now here, whenever if you're writing, we have an option called clear value here. If you clear the value is true, which means whatever the value we have given, it will go to the empty. What are the value we have given? So I'm just going to here. So now what happened if I am just going to clearing the all the values. See if you want to do just control and drag it, cursor that out. You can do the all the operations at a time. If you click on true, it will go to the all the operations. Now hostel is true. See, since it was executed clear the value, we have to clear the value. So always that means whenever the UA policy execute, we have given here as a clear the value as true, so that what was the value is saving, what was the value is existing previously, it will automatically delete it. So always better the whenever you're dealing with clear value, you should understand whether we need to delete the clear value or not. But mostly the best practice is always we can give the clear value as a false. Okay. Yeah. So you clear right this now. This is the UA policy and the most common mm, what you called mistake you guys do in the UA policy. So they can write a UA policy here again. So I'm just going to again. So what happened? The UA policy, the common mistake, for example, they can give you from test value. I'm just giving another scenario. For example, test, I'm just giving as a state as AP. State is Andhra Pradesh, and I'm saving. And then the state is Andhra Pradesh. I'm what writing here? I'm just writing an UI policy. Here we have already didn't write something what I can. Hostel fee, I'm just giving. I'm just copying the hostel fee as a read only. For example, there is a some mistake. It's not a mistake. Some configuration issues. Hostel fee as a mandatory as false and visible as true. Okay. For example, I'm just giving. This is an example. Let's see if you run a see what happened. See, there are multiple UIs with the same word on the field. Their runner is not predictable. That means it's already executing. That means we have already have a hostilities visible UI. So for example, see, if I open this one, I'm just going to the default view. State is Andhra Pradesh. So at that time, see, you can see the hostel is given as a optional and save it. Which means we are not sure which will execute in the first. So to avoid this, for example, if I go to the test one, so what I'm going to do here, I'm just giving the order as 03. Okay, order as 99. So there we have given as admin as 100. See, so what an hostel fee is given a mandate because the 99 is executed first. So that was it. Now if I give as a this one as a 101, let's see what happens. See, due to that hostel is true, this hostel fees is visible and mandatory for that first one. As once you are given the order as a 100, but another scenario if the state is Andhra Pradesh, the hostel fees is optional and visible. So at the time, what happened? Since it is a highest order, it will execute the lately so that it will not be in the same. I hope you guys understand this one concept because the order plays a very key role in service now. The order of this one will be executed. Execution will be the same thing. Okay. Hello. I'm sorry. Can you hear me? So this is the basics in the completely in the UI policy. So we have an option called here. We can write a script. Maybe write since we have not written any script, we can write a script also here. This maybe we can complete the client script. We can check this concept also. Okay. Yes, please. Yes. See, no, no. I understand. No, no, I got it. So what happened here? The hostel. So here we can take an example. Here we have a field called hostel fee. So according to this hostel details visible policy, so hostel fee details visible. So this hostel fee, according to this hostel details visible, what happens? So this hostel fee become a mandatory and visible. And here we have given the lowest order here. And the next one, the test policy as per the test, that means test UI policy, we have given hostel fees as a mandatory and visible is true. Which means the thing here, it will execute first, and the second this was executed. Since the same field, the lowest order will be executed first, and the latest highest order will execute the latest. According to this, the highest order, this UA policy, this hostel fee field as a optional and a visible. So visible, we have not written anything, so that's okay. But the thing was, it was visible. So that means if you write a UA policy for the same condition on a different field, so what happens? It will be executed. We are not sure how the output. So the best practice is for one field, you can always make it as a one UA action, one UA policy only. We cannot write a multiple UA policies for the same field. That's a have a, some issues for the same thing. So this is not a good practice, because see here, as per the system, if the hostel is true, this field also has the mandatory. But since we have written any other scenario, this hostel fee is going to the. So for example, see, if I mark as a Telangana, see that field also not visible. So always one field, one UA policy. That's the best practice. If you want to do another thing, we can write a client script and we can do the same thing. Okay. No, no, that's a different topic. Client script. Just forget about client script. Forget about it. I hope you guys clear. Or still any confusion? That's fine. So this is the topic for today. The UA policies. Any other questions you have today's topic? Good. And so now done the task for today. I hope you guys cleared a different tables and different views and sections in the previous class. So what you guys do today? Just select. For example, if you create one choice, for example, depending upon the one choice, you want to display some fields and mandate. If the state is, for example, assume that if the state is Andhra Pradesh, you want to see all the details. If the state is Telangana, this has to visible. If the state is Tamil Nadu, this in Australia has to visible. Like that, you can make a UA policy in that check. Check it is in the uh, global true or false, and reverse false true or false, and download true or false. If you complete these all scenarios, you can easily understand and check the claim. What happened if the in the UA policy section, if you give as a what I can do, clear the value as true, check what it happens. So this is the basic the task for today. I hope you guys clear the task or any confusion. Okay, any other questions you have for today's topic? Okay, any questions for previous topics? We have that 11 minutes. Filter, we, yeah, it's a lot of things. Yeah, yeah, whenever if you're creating, we can check this one. So you have to elaborate this one. For example, I just shown it how to create a field, right? Whenever if you're creating a field, you can just check there are different types of fields. See the true or false were there, the date is I don't tell the purpose, right? Just explore each and every field type, what is it one. So let me know whatever you are not understand, we can explain the clear. So check, for example, for what happened if this is script, what will happens. Like you can just explore on this thing and let me know if you not understand or any issues. I can explain the clear. Okay. Or else I can take one day class in future in next classes. I will explain clearly. But in the meantime, you can just explore on this stuff. Okay. So any other questions we have?